So this is what happened to the doctor from The Amazing Spider-Man that was bothering the lizard. He ends up stranded on a lifeboat with a tiger that happens to have the same name as Peter Parker's father, Richard Parker. Life of Pi. So, the new movie directed by Ang Lee. This stars... I apologize if I can't get these names right. I'm going to do my best here to get these names right. We got Irfan Khan, who was in The Amazing Spider-Man. He was supposed to be the Proto-Goblin, and instead he ended up being the Lizard's boss that was pushing him to get his work done, and he ends up in that car being hung by a web on the bridge. He plays the adult Pi that's telling the story of what happened when he was on a boat castaway with a tiger. Suraj Sharma is the teenage Pi, the guy that's stranded on the boat. We got Adil Hussain, who is Pi's father, Santosh, and Tabo plays Gita, Pi's mom. And then we got Rafe Spall, who's the unnamed writer that Pi's telling his story to. Gerard Depardieu, he's in this movie for a very small while. He plays this grouchy cook on the ship that the Pi is on before it sinks. and then we got Shravante Sante as Andy, the woman that Pi falls in love with and is forced to leave behind when he goes off to Canada. He goes on a ship to Canada with his family. And the movie is amazing. The 3D, amazing. Whoa! Definitely a movie that I recommend to see in 3D. Oh, wow. So let's get into the plot here. This movie obviously is about a boy named Pi. His birth name actually is Pisse, and he shortens it to Pi for obvious reasons. All the kids at school are making fun of his name, calling him Pissing. So he earns his way of getting it to be called Pi. And yeah, the origins of his name is great, but that part's a little... Because for the first 30 minutes or so, I was like, let's get onto the boat here. I want to see that part. That's the meat of the story here. I don't care about the origin of his name. I like the origin of the tiger. That was cool because you find out the tiger's name is Richard Parker, and the origin is that the tiger's name was originally Thirsty, but they got the name switched up with some guy that thought to be named Thirsty, and then the tiger was thought to be named Richard Parker, and the name stuck. Pi's family owns a zoo, and they're forced to move the animals to Canada. The government is claiming ownership on the land that the zoo is on, and they have to move. So they take all their animals to go on a ship off to Canada, and this big storm hits and sinks the boat. The only survivors are Pi and a tiger. The tiger ends up on the lifeboat with him. And the whole movie is about how he survives with the tiger, how he's able to make this tiger his companion, but at the same time making sure this tiger doesn't eat him. And that is an amazing story. It is just, whoa. And let's see, our other actors, like Gerard Depardieu, his part is like very small since obviously his character dies in the boat. I did like his character for how small of a part he had. But as we get to when you see the boat sink, the ship sink, it's like, oh wow, that looks amazing. There's this scene in the movie where a whale jumps out of the ocean as Pi is in the lifeboat. That is awesome. There's another scene where you see like a big ass school of flying fish fly by. That is awesome. So yeah, the 3D is amazing. Definitely see it in 3D. And that's pretty much it. Rating. I'm giving this movie a 9 out of 10. The beginning drags a bit, and it felt like that part wasn't needed. And the only part that I felt in the beginning was needed was the origin of Richard Parker's name, the tiger's name. Maybe the origin of Pi's name didn't have to be so long, and learning about the woman that he fell in love with and had to leave behind. Aside from that, everything else was great.